Hey everyone, how's it going? So today we're taking a look at the iPhone 14. Now we have the midnight color here to unbox. So let's go ahead and check this color out. See if there's anything different from last year's 13, where the midnight, there was some discussion about whether it was like a really deep blue. And I know there was some little bit of blue in there, but I still consider it just a black phone overall. So let's see this one, how it fares. This retails for $800 for the 128GB model. So that's $200 less expensive than the Pro model. And here it is, we do have two cameras again. So it is missing the third camera like on the 14 Pro or even the 13 Pro. I just wonder, like right off the bat, if it's a better value proposition to get last year's 13 Pro, or if you just want to save some money to get the normal 13 or maybe even the 13 mini. But here is the midnight, and straight up, as far as my memory goes, it looks very similar to last year's. If there was some blue hue in last year's, then maybe this one has even less. It's more towards black. Let's see, I mean, there's a tiny bit maybe of, that kind of overlay of that slight blue tint, but honestly, to me, this is just a black phone. Truly, I mean, it could be just a little bit, like a shade off of black onto the blue side. That could be the case. But I think it's like dark enough to the point where like no one's ever gonna think it's literally just a black phone. Put a case on this. All these accents here are basically black. That camera ring right there, just straight up black. You can see, oh, we do have the white LED, it looks like, which is nice, from the 14 Pro. Let's see here. Yeah, it's the same white LED from the 14 Pro, which is great. So I just was mentioning in the 14 Pro videos that I really like that white LED compared to previous years where we had this like kind of yellowish, whitish duotone that you can see there. I just wasn't a big fan of that look of that LED. It always looked kind of fake. This looks more like an actual LED flash type thing. Now, of course, right off the bat, one of the first things that we have to do is put smudges on this back. This is your last look before I fill this phone with smudges. And for good reason. It's just good to see how it attracts smudges. Now, the back of these is gonna be grippier than the 14 Pro because it's not a matte finish, it's a glossy finish, so it's gonna really stick to your hand. However, the sides are gonna be less grippy than the stainless steel from the 14 Pro. So give and take on that. I've always loved aluminum sides. I think this looks so much better than the 14 Pro. But a lot of people seem to think that the stainless steel just looks better. I don't think so. I think the aluminum just looks stunning. But there you go. This is a fingerprint magnet. I mean, this is just gonna have fingerprints at all times. Of course, since these are kind of glossy backs, they're relatively easy to just wipe off and remove all the fingerprints. So no issue if you're gonna use these without a case or anything. You can get it looking like new very quickly. Let's go ahead and remove the front film here and see it from the front. Of course, this is gonna be the ultimate sleek phone. If you want something that's not gonna attract attention or anything, this is gonna look nice and sleek. And you can see there, just black from the front, nothing shining back at you, just looks really good. Let's go ahead and boot it up here. There we go. The sides again, that stainless steel looks just, I mean, not stainless steel, aluminum looks just stunning. It's just flat, matte. I just always love how cool to the touch these sides are on the aluminum. It just looks so good. Right here are the ports. They're also kind of colored in that same aluminum inside. So everything looks really good. Even the screws are black right there so that it all matches. Really nice. Same thing here, no SIM card slot. So you won't be able to just take your current SIM card and put it into this phone. You do have to do that setup through eSIM and through your carrier when you boot up the phone and do that. But here it is, the 14. It looks really nice. Again, we have that notch at the top, so you're not getting the notchless design like you are with the 14 Pro. So here's my 13 Pro. You can see that there, basically the exact same thing from the front. I don't think the dimensions of the notch have changed at all. If anything, I think what Apple has done here is actually just restructure the 13 Pro into the current 14. And that's just it. They're just selling you last year's model as kind of the standard model now with a missing camera on the back. At this point, I just feel like they should all have the 3 camera array, but whatever. Here's a little color comparison in case you had this graphite last year or something, or you want to see that gray versus the deep midnight color. You can see it right there. Apple has increased the size of the Apple logos on the 14 Pro, but I don't think they've done it here on the normal 14. It doesn't look like it. Maybe a smidge, but not as much as the other ones. I'm not sure. I can't tell. Maybe they have increased it on both. Now here, if you wanted to see the notch difference between the Pro and the normal 14, you can see it right there. The 14 Pro notch is definitely significantly smaller, and I would even say more noticeable actually, and it pops up a lot more than the 14 and the 13 Pro. So if you want a notch that kind of blends in, I don't think this whole dynamic island thing is gonna be for you. But of course, at least there's some functionality in the dynamic island, where here is just a notch. But at this point, it just feels like it's just part of the design, right? This is just kind of floating there and just constantly there. I don't know, I think it's up to each person. I don't think that the dynamic island notch is definitely better. I think just a hole punch is better than all these, or just no notch at all would be great. But let's see real quick what else we get in the box here. Very simple, just lightning to USB-C, and the same thing as the Pros, just a sticker, and then a piece of paper telling you that you no longer need a SIM card. They don't tell you you can't use a SIM card, they tell you you don't need it anymore, which is interesting. But that's all you get in the box, nothing super special. So again, 800 bucks for this. While you can go all the way up to 512, you're gonna have to pay $1,100 for a 512 gigabyte iPhone 14, which I don't know if that's worth the trade-off, because you get a couple more newer options with the Pros, so I think that'd be better. But let's have here some cases. But before that, I'm gonna show it to you in person so you can see exactly how it looks here from a distance and me while talking and texting. So here, you can kind of see that they're super glossy, super reflective, but those sides are definitely, I'm a big fan of those sides. Right here, we see the camera bump. You can kind of see that slight blue tint. When you throw a lot of light on it, there's some sort of ultraviolet or blue tint that you get from it being so deep black, which might be what people mentioned last year, but I think overall the Midnight should just be seen as a black phone. I guess it could be like jet black, you know, like the iPhone 7, which is, you look at it, it's just like the deepest black. That's not this, so it's not quite at that level. But how about from a distance here, while talking. Now this phone is of course going to also be available in the Max model, so they got rid of the Mini in favor of the Max. I think that was a mistake. I thought the Mini was amazing, and I feel like people that would have enjoyed it never bought it, and if you can find a good deal on that, you should get it. And here, while texting, you can see that there. If you want a size comparison as to how big the Max would be, this is the Pro 14, but it would be basically this size for the Max as well. So yeah, it's significantly bigger, and something that you really have to choose to lug around compared to this smaller, kind of normal average size. There you go. This is how the black looks. Very sleek, very cool. You put like a matte black skin on this or something, and it would look even more amazing, or some cases or something. But now here, let's go ahead and try on some cases just to see here. All right, so let's start off with a clear case here on the back, which is honestly the worst thing you can put on a black phone. A clear case, just to me, is just not the way to go. You're gonna see all the smudges all the time. It's gonna look dirty and grimy, and I'm just not a fan of it. Maybe a matte back type clear case or something like that, but this type of style just isn't for darker phones. It's more for lighter phones. And when we unbox the red one next, I think that'll look fantastic on that red color. Let's see a matte black back here. You can see the black from the back kind of blends in with that black from the aluminum. And you can actually see this slight blue tint to it there, because we have the black right here, and then that looks a little bit off black, right? A tiny, tiny, tiny bit, not much, but it's a tiny, very subtle bit. Maybe that's what I missed last year. And of course, with the ports and all that, nothing's gonna shine through. It's just gonna be that black midnight color there. And now let's see here, just the purple case for the sake of it, given that we have this. This is just so you guys get an idea of how this color looks in some cases. And here's that black with the purple. I'm just gonna keep saying black because that's easier. Or, I mean, I guess I could just say midnight. But midnight purple look there. Looks pretty good actually. But again, the darker the color of the phone and the case being clear, you're gonna see those smudges and fingerprints quite a bit. This kind of works well because the clear back actually has this print which doesn't really attract smudges at all. And you can see that Black is nice because you can actually put basically any color case on this and it's gonna pop and look really nice. And so I like the versatility of a black phone if you do like to switch up cases from time to time, or even skins from time to time. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. It's just a quick look at this phone. Again, the smudging here, you can kind of see here on the aluminum. It's not that bad on the aluminum, but definitely on that glossy back, it is, but very easy to clean and make look like new again. Again, $800 for 128 gigabytes, $900 for 256, $512 for 1100. And overseas, all these prices have gone up a lot, so I think it's better to get, if you don't get a good trade-in deal for one of these phones, it's definitely better to get previous years or just wait for the iPhone 15, which will get kind of a body redesign, and we'll see a lot of new features with that phone. But aside from that, thanks for watching this video. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Goodbye.